Yeah, so Joe and I saw each other at the Gary Vaynerchuk show in Rochester.
What a weird place to be.
What'd you think about Gary V after his? Had you seen him before? Like, what'd you know about Gary V before, and then what'd you think?
Yeah, actually, one of my business partners, he's in that world. Like, he used to work with like a lot of motivational speakers and stuff like that, and he put me on him.
Right.
And then he's like, you wanna get to know this guy. Most of these guys I don't really like because they don't run businesses or they don't know what they're talking about. They
Right.
just sell dreams and stuff. So they sound like a used car salesman to me. But
Okay.
then this dude, when I heard him, I was like, oh shit, this guy, he's a businessman. Like
Yeah.
he has his parents, I think it was a liquor store or wine company, and he blew it up.
Yeah, I think he had a wine company, and then
Yeah.
he tripled their sales once he got like active, like pushing the business. I mean, they
Right.
had a business to begin with.
Exactly. And then and the stuff that he says makes sense. And I know this because, I own like a few restaurants
Yeah.
and I've been in business for a while. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I could tell that he's not bullshitting. I like what he's saying. He's straightforward. And I think that's what we need right now. We need a guy that can just be straight about everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think yeah, because I watch when things I watch, I'm like, oh, is this person, are they just giving me information? Are they somebody that I could look at as like an actual guide? Are they just selling me something? Those are the things that I think, are my natural inclinations when I'm watching something. Like, okay, is this just for entertainment?
Yeah.
Is this for entertainment and education? Is this just a hidden advertisement,
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I left out of there. I definitely thought it was interesting. I felt like I get this vibe, and I can be totally wrong. This is, most of the vibes I get are wrong, and but that Gary, he's just like so into business though that it becomes almost like an obsession. You know? Like
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's where I don't want to be ever in my life. I mean, I don't, I woke up at probably 10:30 a.m. today, so I don't think I'll ever get to that place. But
I know what you mean. It's
But that's
it's all
something
about
I
that
worry about.
balance, right? You don't want
Yeah.
to obsess to the point where your relationships suffer.
when
and
you're
all
just
these
greedy,
other
where you have
things.
like, if your family
Right.
has like $100 million, like, what does that even mean? You know?
I kind of get it because I have friends like him.
Right.
And
Oh, do
the
you
way,
really?
Yeah, the way they see business is like a video game. So they're, you know how some people are super obsessed with like different hobbies and video games, or like some people want to surf like 10 hours a day or something
Yeah.
like that, right? And that's the way this guy,
Or you masturbate. A lot of our listeners want to masturbate for half the day.
right?
And some of these guys have been sending me pictures and artwork. Some guy sent me a drawing the other day, allegedly done in, skeet or whatever they call it.
What did
And,
they do? Jack off onto a piece of paper?
I didn't see any of the. I didn't see him make the paint. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely saw, the final artwork, and the art wasn't even any good. And I felt bad for looking at it. And then he sent me a message like, "Just look again and see if you like the picture." And I was like, and I looked again because I want to be. I don't want to not be somebody that doesn't care about somebody's art.
Yeah.
And it still was just horrible. It just didn't even look like art. It looked like somebody just honestly masturbated onto a piece of paper. So I think I kind of got tricked. But anyway, but yeah, some of our listeners. But yeah, go on. You were saying people do all kinds of stuff.
I just think the thing is like
It could
with
become a
this
video
dude,
game.
Yeah, I think he's just passionate about it.
Right.
And but you're right, like I mean sometimes obsessions and passions can go overboard and it could destroy people. But I think he does it in a more healthy way because he doesn't preach that hashtag hustle, you need to work all day and do all this stuff. If you really listen to what he's saying, it's really, there's a bigger picture to it, and it's about like connecting with people, being
Right.
genuine, creating products and businesses that are ethical and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's not really this like work all day, work all night, don't even sleep, you could sleep later mentality.
Right.
I think if you love doing anything, you'll do that for farming if you're passionate about farming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so I think it's just with money, there's this weird stigma around it, like because there are so many, shady scammers and all that stuff that's tied to that kind of world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think about that. It's like, think about that a lot, I guess. And maybe, I don't know if I even obsess sometimes on that. Like what is like enough
Are you into business?
to be doing business? Yeah, I'm into business,
That's cool.
I'm into it. I'm getting more into it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what happened for me was, I just started getting busy. And so it's like, okay, my time is a commodity.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And it's really the only, it's like the only like commodity that's definitely mine.
Yeah.
you know, like intrinsically, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that must start has from there things started to be like, okay, well, I can't do this anymore. I can't do that. Like I can have a conversation that's you know, I can't hang out and just listen to somebody that's drunk talk for an hour.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna nothing's gonna come of it.
Right.
Nothing's gonna come of it for me, nothing's gonna come of it for them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just little things like that, but it starts to then it becomes more and more serious and then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I need to be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a friend of mine and I a long time ago invested in a apartment, an apartment or a condominium down in New Orleans.
Oh shit.
And so that's one thing that I got into slowly over the years. It's been like 15 years now. You know, we each had like 10 grand and we
Damn,
saved
that's
up and we
cool.
put in and we got a place. So then over the years, like you become like a property manager,
Yeah.
a landlord.
So you have real estate. You're
Well,
in that world.
So then I started to get into it a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Like I started then, like over time, you know, was able to sell and then get two places, right? But then also it's like I've realized in that time, like then I'll become a landlord. There are
Yeah.
times when I'm a landlord where I'm seeking tenants. There are times where now part of my week I have to deal with. You know, like dealing with HOA issues
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So it's, I've definitely learned some of it, you know,
Yeah.
things like that make you want to think like, okay, at first I'm like, well, maybe I'll buy an apartment building one day.
Yeah. But do you want the responsibility?
That's another thing.
Right? I think that's what they don't tell you is like
They
people
don't.
go, "Oh, business is so cool, owning businesses," but like they don't tell you all the bullshit you have to go through.
Yeah. Yeah. And if that's something, and I think that's a thing, you know, I think a lot of people feel, you know, we see videos like business videos online.
Yeah.
And some of them makes me feel inspired, but then sometimes I can also feel like, oh man, I'm not doing enough, you know?
That's true.
Like I started too late. I did this, I
Yeah.
did that. But
That's
some
super
people,
true.
business is not for everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
And being like like that kind of stuff, like, dude, the other night, like I'm in an HOA call, right? I'm listening on it, part of an HOA board. And dude, I'm sitting there for 2 hours listening while some guy who I think is probably an alcoholic, like just berates everyone else on the board, you know?
Damn.
But it's like, I have to do that
Yeah.
because I committed. And it's just, yes, more business gets created. So if you don't want to be a business person and you
Yeah.
don't really like doing those sorts of things,
Yeah.
then just don't feel bad about yourself if you see those types of videos and you're like, fuck, I'm not a business guy.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like the Gary Vee dude because he doesn't come off as like a lot of the other guys. Who,
Right.
I mean, because you're in business,
does
you
seem
know,
more, yeah.
you know, like who's a fraud and who isn't. Like
Yeah.
if someone's just trying to sell you a dream,
Yeah.
and they're like, you want to be on this fucking yacht with a bunch of girls and shit. It's
Yeah,
like,
and then they throw one of the girls off the yacht and they're like, what did Belinda do?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you're better off trying to be an entertainer, an artist. You get that shit for real, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost that much if you think about it. You could rent a yacht, you could get a bunch
Yeah.
of girls.
You want to kill your brother with a nice gun? And then he just kills one of his brothers. Thankfully, the guy has like 9 brothers, you know, but it's still like, but yeah, some of it's just delusional.
Yeah.
But then there are guys, and I did notice he seemed like, I just got to shake his hand and say, hey, we chatted for maybe 6 seconds. And it was, he does seem authentic though. He seems authentic in his desire to like lead people.
Yeah.
Into not getting stuck into bad habits.
Right.
That's one thing I noticed.
I mean, one thing I took away from what he preaches is like, you know, really give away the content. Don't try to sell everything all the time.
Yeah.
And then be honest with yourself. Like if you want to make $1 million, be honest about that. Don't fucking go around and say like, yeah, I want to help the world. I want to do this for charity or whatever. Then get into charity.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that want to get into business and they think they're saving the world, or they don't want to come off as greedy.
Right.
But they're not being honest with themselves.
Ah, that's
You
interesting.
know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's totally right.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. And if you want to see another clip, then you can look at this clip or this clip, either one of these. So did you pick one, or are you still just watching me do this? Because this is alarming.